Good Sunday morning. Thanks for joining us. I'm Bethany Cates. And this 7-Eleven here in Castleberry on the intersection of 436 and Howell Branch was just a testament to how strong those winds were. Now I want you to take a look at this for yourself. You can see the awning and the siding of the frame of this gas station that has fallen to the ground, and there was actually a car that was at the bottom of that siding. Some kids and teens are no longer spending their time on parks and playgrounds such as this, but they are now glued to these devices. You're looking at what you can call airport chaos. The FAA says this global tech outage is affecting a variety of different airlines. I'm going to take a step to the side so you can kind of see there's people all over the place. And we're now following breaking news in Orange County, where a man is dead after trying to kill a woman and then holding their child hostage. An Orange County mother will spend the next 5 years of her life in prison after police say her 10-year-old daughter shot and killed their neighbor during a fight. Well, if you're looking to go to the beach this weekend, you might want to make it an afternoon trip because of the high tides rolling in. 24 hours ago, terminals were in shambles after a global IT outage disrupted flights and led to long lines. Today marks the 49th day since the Starliner docked at the International Space Station, and NASA and Boeing are still working to bring the crew home. A 3,000-foot breathtaking experience of Antarctica. Penguin Trek is SeaWorld Orlando's 8th roller coaster. Corporate VP of Operations Rob McNicholas says the biggest difference for this ride is the height requirement.
This was a niche we were missing, right? So a low height requirement so the family could all ride together is just perfect, and our guests wanted that, and I think we delivered on this attraction.
The ride will feature 2 launches and race up to 43 miles per hour. Here we go, this is the ride. The coaster will navigate twists and turns, carefully escaping the icy cavern of Antarctica. But that's not all. As soon as the ride is over, guests will be able to walk through a real-life penguin exhibit where they can learn about 5 different species from Antarctica. McNicholas says this is an exclusive experience.
You can only do that here at SeaWorld. You say, see it here, save it there, right? You see these animals and it touches your heart and it teaches your mind to help them in the wild, right? So it's what we do and it's what we're passionate about.
Non-thrill guests have the option to skip the ride and go directly to the penguin exhibit to still enjoy the experience of Antarctica. SeaWorld Pass members were able to get early access to the ride on July 2nd, and the ride will officially open up to the public on July 7th. In Orlando, Bethany Cates, WESH 2 News. Many Magic fans across the country are mourning the loss of the legendary Hall of Famer and pioneer, Pat Williams. Williams was the co-founder of the Orlando Magic and the reason that all of this is here today.
That the #1 pick in the 2004 draft goes to the Orlando Magic.
Pat Williams is described to be more than just a businessman. He was a man with a plan and a game changer in the Central Florida community, bringing an NBA franchise to Orlando in 1987. At the time, David Steele had his dream job in Gainesville, but he says it was something about Williams that brought him to Orlando. He ended up being one of the first people hired to work for the Orlando Magic.
He was so convincing, so charismatic. He convinced me that this is where I needed to be.
We finally have players, and we're very pleased with the outcome of the draft.
For 35 years, Steele watched the city of Orlando and the Magic take a turn for the better.
Has lifted the city of Orlando, Central Florida, to a different level, economically, internationally recognized city for pro sports.
After working side by side for more than 3 decades, Steele says it's devastating to lose the person who took the city beautiful to greater heights.
I'm just going to miss just Pat being Pat.
Williams died peacefully on July 17th at 84 years old due to complications with pneumonia, and the Magic put out a statement saying in part, quote, "Pat Williams simply brought the Magic to Orlando. His accomplishments will always be remembered."
When it comes to the end, I want to be known as a difference maker. I think that would be the best title.
And a difference maker he was. In Orlando, Bethany Cates, WESH 2 News. As Hurricane Beryl makes landfall in Jamaica any day now, workers at local Jamaican restaurants here in Orlando say although their relatives are okay, they are still worried for the people without access to resources and a way to take shelter. Patrick Hutchison works at Golden Crust on Colonial Drive, and he says they are preparing for what could be a terrible storm.
We're really preparing for this because it's going to be really terrible. life may be lost, stuff like that, because you have a lot of poor people, like in the countryside, they ain't got no refuge.
The Category 5 hurricane made landfall in Grenada and re-strengthened as it went over the Caribbean Sea. According to the National Hurricane Center, Beryl is expected to bring life-threatening winds and storm surge to Jamaica.
When the hurricane come in Kingston City, it's like river flowing, all the roads flooded with water, stuff like that. So we all got to prepare for this and embrace whatever comes.
Keno Burke has worked at Caribbean Sunshine for 14 years, and he says that his whole family is in Jamaica.
Well, they're mostly calling me because my home is good in Jamaica, but as far as food, that's what they're worried about. So I'm trying to hurry up. As soon as I get off today, I'll be sending some money to Jamaica so they can stack up. Gilbert was one of the strongest hurricanes that came through Jamaica, and they survived it, so I'm sure they're not really worried.
Despite the threat, both workers are staying positive.
I mean, they'll be okay. As long as God is in the midst, we'll be all right.
So one of the beauty about Jamaica, people come together and help each other fix their houses, their property, whatever. We assist each other in helping out.
Assist each other to try and bring their lives and their country back together. In Orlando, Bethany Cates, WESH 2 News.